New York City. I mean, just the name itself brings up these huge images, right? Skyscrapers, yellow cabs, this relentless energy. But what really makes it tick? What are the actual ingredients that turn a city into a true global capital? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to dissect the anatomy of New York and find out.
Okay, so first things first, let's just talk about the sheer scale of it. We're talking nearly 9 million people. And that's not just a big city, that's a population bigger than a whole lot of countries out there. This incredible density of human beings, well, that's the foundation. It's the starting point for literally every story New York has to tell.
And when you bring all those people together, you get what many people call the most economically powerful city in the world. Now that is a huge claim, but from Wall Street to the fashion industry, its economic footprint is just massive. And we're about to see exactly why. So that gets us to the big question, right? How did this happen? How did one city, sitting on a harbor, earn the nickname the capital of the world? Believe me, it wasn't an accident. There's a very specific formula here, a mix of geography, history, and just pure human ambition. So let's unpack that formula piece by piece. All right, so the very first ingredient in this formula, it's the people. New York is like this giant magnet for humanity. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the mix of people. The city's real secret sauce is this unbelievable level of global diversity.
And we're not just talking about where people are from. I mean, can you imagine walking down the street and hearing up to 800 different languages being spoken? That's not an exaggeration. That's New York. It's this constant living experiment in global communication that is happening on a scale that just doesn't exist anywhere else on Earth.
So what you end up with is a city where there's no single ethnic or racial majority. It's a true mosaic. And this isn't just about being tolerant, it's about what happens when different cultures constantly collide, mix, and create something totally new. It's a recipe for this incredible dynamic energy.
And look, this role as a global magnet, it's not some new thing. It is literally baked into the city's DNA. From its earliest days as a tiny Dutch trading post, through the massive waves of immigration at Ellis Island, all the way to today, the defining story of New York has always been a story of arrival.
So, what happens when you take all that talent, all that ambition, all that diversity, and you squeeze it onto one little island? You get an absolute economic juggernaut. Let's dig into the sheer financial force this city projects across the entire globe.
Let me put this in perspective for you. If the New York metro area was its own country, its economy would be one of the 10 biggest on the planet. We're talking a GDP that's larger than Canada's, larger than Russia's, larger than Australia's. That's just mind-boggling.
And of course, you can't talk about money in New York without talking about Wall Street. But Wall Street isn't just a street, right? It's become global shorthand for the entire financial industry, and its command center is sitting right there in downtown Manhattan.
And listen, New York isn't just a financial hub. You could argue it is the financial hub. I mean, the two biggest stock exchanges in the entire world, the NYSE and the NASDAQ, are right there, just a few blocks from each other, pumping trillions of dollars through the city every single day. All of that financial dominance creates this incredible concentration of wealth. And that capital isn't just sitting in a vault, it's incredibly active. It's fueling global investments, driving that legendary real estate market, and funding everything from tiny tech startups to massive art museums. Okay, so you've got people from every corner of the globe, and you've got this immense amount of capital. When you mix those two things together, something really magical happens. New York becomes this laboratory for new ideas, a crucible where global culture is actually born. Just think about the movements that have shaped our world. The literary genius of the Harlem Renaissance? Born here. The raw, rebellious energy of punk rock? Yep, here too. And hip-hop, a sound that completely took over the planet? It started on the streets of New York. Salsa, disco, the list just goes on and on.
And this isn't just ancient history, you know? To this day, whether you're in an art gallery, a theater, or a dance studio, the world is still looking to New York to see what's coming next. It's the ultimate proving ground for ideas before they go global.
And this cultural influence isn't just some abstract idea. It translates into serious economic power. Just take Broadway. We're talking $1.5 billion in ticket sales in just one season. And that's just one slice of this massive creative economy.
And that influence just ripples outward. It shapes what we read, what we watch, and even the clothes we wear.
The biggest media companies on the continent are headquartered here, and when New York Fashion Week kicks off, designers and buyers from the entire planet are paying attention.
But, being a global capital also means you're a global target. A city of this size faces some pretty enormous challenges. So a core part of New York's identity is its remarkable, almost stubborn ability to not just survive these shocks, but to reinvent itself every single time.
I mean, just think about the last 25 years. The city has been tested by the terrorism of 9/11, a devastating hurricane, and it became the global epicenter of a pandemic. Any one of those events could have completely broken another city.
And yet, it always comes back. And that's not just a local myth, it's a global perception. People around the world actually see New York as the most resilient city on Earth. That spirit of recovery, that toughness, has become a huge part of its modern identity.
So, where does all this leave us? This incredible formula, the people, the power, the culture, that's what made New York what it is today. But the world is always changing, right? So the big question is, what's the next chapter gonna look like? How does the capital of the 20th century evolve to navigate the 21st?